So, part two. This is partly me getting to grips with technology, doing this in chunks. What to expect from a session. So we would normally get together in a circle. In the last year, I've only been working outside, and we've met in a couple of different places outside, several different places. It's really nice to stand in a circle because you get to see everyone and you kind of get a little bit more of a surround sound experience. But sometimes it just depends on the place, especially when we're singing outside. We have to be quite versatile and work with what we've got. And all face-to-face sessions since COVID happened and we came out of the first lockdown are fully risk assessed. They all were anyway, but they are now fully risk assessed with regards to COVID and are run in line with government guidance, with my professional body guidance, and in line with my insurance company's requirements. So I would start a session with a physical warm-up. So it's really important when we're singing. Obviously the voice box and the throat and the mouth are really important. They're kind of the working parts that we're focusing on when we're singing. But it's so important to have the rest of the body awake and alive to support ourselves, because the more that we're awake and alive in our legs, in our back, in our belly, in our arms and shoulders, in our neck and our head, the more we are supporting the voice box and the voice, and taking some of the, supporting it and taking some of the work away from it. So it's a whole body experience. So at the start of a session, the very least I would ask people to do is to kind of just consciously check in with their whole body and just find a way of at least gently just moving every part of the body, just to kind of, wiggle the toes, wiggle your fingers, wake everything up. I do something a little bit more energetic, start with shaking, and then we do some tapping up the arms and legs, tapping on the back, and then we do some neck stretches and stuff. So I would really encourage people to do the physical warm-up in a way that feels comfortable for your body at that particular session. And obviously, if there are any injuries or tender places, to be especially careful with those. Physical warm-up, then I teach some songs. And the way that I teach, we don't use music. I teach everything by ear, so there's no need to be able to read music. I generally don't use music at all. There have been some exceptions to that during the last year because we've been having to be creative with how we keep things going. But on the whole, I certainly don't expect anyone to read music. It's not a requirement at all. So I teach everything by ear. So I would teach a song by singing a little phrase, and then everybody would sing it back to me. So I might sing, "Come along, my friend, come along, get on board and ride this train." And then you'd sing that back with everyone else. "Come along, my friend, come along, get on board and ride this train." And if that felt a bit high, you might wait until I teach another part that's a bit lower. So it might be, come along, my friend, come along, get on board and ride this train. And we'd learn that one in the same way. And then we'd sing them together, those two parts together, and start to hear the harmony. So it might sound something like this. "Come along, my friend, come along, get on board and ride this train." Okay, and when we're in a room together or when we're outside together, obviously there will be a group of people singing one part and another group of people singing another part. When we're on Zoom, it's a bit different. So on the downside, you're not in a group of people, it's just you. Because of the delays, the technological delays on Zoom, we can't be singing and hearing each other at the same time, because the delays mean we're not in unison, we're not at the same time, and that just doesn't work very well. So the way we do it is I will sing my little bit and everybody's on mute, so nobody else in the group can hear you, and then you'll sing your little bit. So in some ways it's a really good time, it's kind of a low pressure time to join a choir or a singing group, because you can sing away to your heart's content and we don't hear you. So there's that kind of anxiety about what are people going to think about how I sound isn't there, because we can't hear you. Certainly in the way that I teach. There may be other teachers who do it in a different way. I am aware that at the moment most people are at home all the time, so singing at home does sometimes mean that you've got family members or housemates that may hear you, so that can present challenges in a different way. But hopefully they would be supportive of what you're doing. So when we're on Zoom, because we can't hear each other, because I can't say, right, this group sing that group sing that, let's go, I use multi-track recordings, as you've just heard, and once we've learnt the song we would sing along to that, which for better or for worse is 4 versions of my voice. It is a poor relation to singing together face to face, but it is a lot better than nothing. So that's where we're at the moment. Some choirs are run by more than one person. Some teachers are much more technologically minded than I am, so have found ways to produce recordings with different voices in them. So it's always worth having, if you're really keen to join a choir, do kind of look around and get to know the different choirs that are in your area. If this doesn't immediately appeal to you, there may well be another teacher who's doing it slightly different in a way that really does work for you. So we would then a lot of the songs have 4 parts in, but some of them have 2 or 3 or 4. But so this is the same song with 4 parts in, just so you can hear it.
Come along, my friend, come along, get on board and ride this train. Nothing on this train to lose, everything to gain.
So there's a little taster for you. And that is essentially what we do in sessions. Most of the songs that I teach on Zoom are pretty short, because it can be really hard learning the part on your own. Like I say, when we're face to face, if there's a little bit you're not sure, if you can kind of stand next to your friend and say, how did that go? Yeah, right. And pick it up again off each other. And that's hardest to do on Zoom because you're not hearing each other. So I do try and keep songs short. Great variety of different types of songs, different rhythms, different themes and lyrics. So there's generally stuff that most people like in every session. I do quite a lot of African songs. Excuse me. There's a great heritage in Africa of people singing in harmony, and it's a tradition that many African cultures are still connected with, in a way that we have become disconnected with our singing culture here, our indigenous singing culture. So there's a lot of songs from there. There's a lot of songs from different countries around the world, and then there's some contemporary songs, some old songs, all sorts of songs. And we generally sing 5 or 6 songs in a session, depending on how much time we've had to learn spend practicing them. Yeah, so that's what to expect from a session. And as well as, you know, fun chat and meeting nice people and stuff like that, which is always a bonus.